All right, listen up. Forget about charisma. Aura is the new king, and here's exactly how to build it. I'm about to give you 5 tips that you can follow and implement right now on how to create an unforgettable aura. But make sure you stick all the way to the end, because this one is probably the easiest one to implement today and the one that 99% of people will miss. Now, what is aura? Aura is basically like the new word for charisma. That's basically what it is. It's saying if you have charisma, if you know how to talk, you know how to keep a conversation going, you have personality, you're jokeful, you're a little playful, have some banter to you, you're not super serious. It's basically your personality and how you project your personality to other people. And actually, the first tip on how to create an unforgettable aura is actually having inner confidence. Now, this might sound very cliche, like, oh, just believe in yourself. If you think you can do it, you can do it. If you think you can do it, you can do it. Yeah, that's not really exactly what I mean. When I say have inner confidence, I'm talking about actually believing and truly living that, no, I'm that guy. Or if you're a girl, no, I'm that girl. Knowing and truly believing in yourself, even if somebody doesn't believe that you can do something, regardless of what other people might be saying to you or what other people might be thinking, you stick to your word, you do what you say what you mean, and you mean what you say. So, for example, I've spoken about how I have a visual disability, and for most people who have visual disabilities, in my experience, what I've come to realize is most people really have a low level of self-confidence and a really low level of self-esteem. And I mean, I understand why, because I used to be exactly like that. I used to have very low self-confidence and low self-esteem growing up. During middle school, part of elementary, and even part of high school, I wasn't very confident. I didn't have the highest self-esteem or the highest self-confidence, inner confidence with myself because of my visual disability. But as I've gotten older, as I've learned a couple things, I've learned things here, things there, as I've gained some more experience, what I've learned is the way you gain inner confidence and the way that you basically get this level of confidence where pretty much people call you, or some people might refer to you as being cocky or arrogant. You get this from actually believing in yourself and actually going out and doing things that other people might tell you is impossible, or people might tell you that you can't do. Such as, like, I was a drum major here at my university. Nobody in the fucking history of the fucking world has ever done what I did. Be visually impaired or disabled and been a college drum major at a D1 HBCU. No one's ever done that. There's no one on the face of the fucking planet, on face of history, who's ever done that besides me. But I didn't get that level of confidence, that level of inner self-assurance, that level of high self-esteem through believing and listening to other people. I had to believe it in myself first that, some people might say, no, that's impossible. There's no one who's ever done this, or you're never gonna be able to do it. And I could have easily just fallen trapped with that belief and falling into that belief that, they're actually right. I don't think I can do that. Or they're right. It's never been done and I'll never be able to do it. But having that level of reassurance and that level of inner confidence in yourself where, even if your mom, your brother, your sister, your dad, your friends, whoever it is around you is telling you, oh no, I don't think that's a good idea. Or I don't think you can do that. Or that probably might not be the best move. You having that belief that, I get where you're coming from, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna do it, and I believe that I can get it done. Even if you don't believe in me, even if you don't see my vision right now, and you don't see where I'm trying to go, I'm still gonna do it. And that level of inner confidence, that level of thinking honestly, truthfully, that really you're that guy, you're the shit, you're pretty much that person, that level of confidence, that level of self-reassurance trickles down into what other people might call cockiness or arrogance. People tell me a lot where they will tell me, you're extremely cocky, you're extremely arrogant, you're full of yourself, you're pretty much self-centered, and you're kind of a narcissist or very egotistical. Now, I can look at these things and think of them as kind of like a bad thing, that no, I'm not like that, or, I'm not that type of person. But that just shows to me that other people are able to pick up on my level of confidence, my level of self-reassurance, my level of high self-esteem, that even if somebody doesn't believe in me or even if somebody's saying this or saying that about me, I'm gonna still do whatever I say I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna basically fuck what everybody else has to say. Which leads me perfectly into my second point, which is actually having authenticity. Nobody likes a fucking copycat. No one likes a fucking replica. No one likes a fucking clone of somebody else. No one fucking likes that. And if you're always trying your hardest to be someone you're not, you're trying to be basically put up a front or put up a mask as to what you want other people to believe what you are or who you are. At some point or another, people are gonna figure that out, that you know what, you're just putting up a mask, you're putting up a front. This isn't actually you. You're just giving me a facade. So when you have that level of inner confidence where you pretty much say, you know what, fuck you, and I'm gonna just do whatever I want to do. That level of authenticity where you're basically unapologetic yourself shows other people that you're not really afraid of judgment. You're not really afraid of criticism. You're not really afraid of being by yourself. You're comfortable in being who you are. And if somebody doesn't like you, then they can go fuck off, they can go suck a dick, they can go fuck themselves. But that level of authenticity doesn't come from trying to be someone you're not, trying to be a replica or a clone of somebody else. Yes, we have role models. Yes, we have people who we idolize or, who we might look up to. But the goal isn't to be exactly like them. It should be to learn from them, learn what it is that makes them unique. Maybe one thing here, one thing there, and using all of those things to help build the person who we want to be, which would actually lead me into my third point, which is having and being able to show kindness and empathy. Like I told you before, people are going to pick up whenever you're trying to put up a front or whenever you're trying to put up a mask. So whenever you have that level of authenticity, the people who fuck with you are going to naturally fuck with you. Being able to show them a level of kindness and a level of empathy to where you're showing them, yes, I might be this way or I might be a certain way, but you can still come to me and, if you need a favor here or a favor there, you have that level of confidence with me where you can ask me for help. You can ask me for advice. You can ask me for guidance on how to do this, how to do that. I had a friend of mine, I had her as a guest a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago on a YouTube video. My friend Samantha, she had asked me if I could help her move from her old apartment into her new one. Now, what I could have done, I could have just simply said, you know what, I don't want to do that. I have things to do. Or I could have just lied and said, hey, I really don't have time. I have something scheduled on that day, just to have my weekend and not waste my time trying to help her. But because she knows who I am, she knows the type of person that I am because she's been around me long enough to know who I am and how I am. She knows that, you know what, yes, he might be an asshole sometimes. Yeah, he might be fucking blunt. Yeah, he might be a little rude and kind of crazy at times with the things that he says and the way that he says things. But I know that if I come to him and I ask him for help or I ask him for a favor or, some guidance, I know I can rely on him and I can basically be comfortable enough to come to him and ask him for that. Because the people who will naturally fuck with you, they're gonna fuck with you regardless of, who you are. Like me personally, for instance, I really like books. I like reading. I like playing chess, working out, reading audiobooks, filming content, things like this I like to do. And there's a whole bunch of people here at my university who only like to smoke weed, to drink, to party, to talk to hoes, and to waste time. I don't align myself with any of these things, and I don't really like doing any of these things either. So for that reason, I don't even have to try to do anything to repel them away from me. Me being who I am and me just not trying to be someone I'm not is gonna naturally repel them from me. And all the people who, like to read books, like to work out, like to have a good time, whatever I like to do that align with who I am and the things that I'm interested are gonna naturally gravitate towards me. I don't have to force anything. Anytime I've tried to force anything with any situation, it's always backfired. It's never fucking gone according to plan or gone the way that I wanted to. It was almost like trying to force a key into a lock that it doesn't fit with, instead of just putting the pieces of a puzzle together naturally where it was almost as if it was meant to be. That's the point that you want to be in, where you're showing that level of kindness, you're showing that level of empathy towards people people, even though maybe you might be the fucking rude or a little crazy or blunt, just how I am. Not saying that you should be disrespectful, but you're unapologetically yourself. You're not trying to put up a mask because of your, you know, the level of confidence that you have or the level of self-esteem that you have about yourself. You're not trying to do that, but you still are able to, you know, be helpful to other people, help guide them, help give them some motivation, some words of advice. You're able to do them a favor whenever they need it. For the fourth point, which are the subtle signs such as your posture and your style. Most people really, whenever you meet somebody, they make a predetermined idea of who you are and the type of person who you are within the first 2 seconds of seeing you. Before they even meet you, before you even speak to them, or before they even speak to you, they already have a thought in their head as to the type of person you are simply by your posture and basically the way you dress or your style. This is part of the reason why whenever we see a very attractive person or a very beautiful girl, we already start to believe, oh, she's really nice. She must be, you know, come from a rich family. She knows how to act. I don't have to worry about her trying to steal. We already have these like stereotypes about people based on the way that they dress, their sense of style, and their posture, their body language, the way that they stand, the way that they sit, because we're judging people every single time we meet somebody or we see someone. For example, if you were walking down the street or if you were walking at a mall and you saw two people, same two people, but in two different situations, where one of them was dressed in pajama pants and a hoodie and probably some Crocs or some slides, how much self-respect or how much respect would you actually have for that person? Or would you be more willing to help that person if they came to you and asking you for advice or asking you for a tip? Not very likely. You wouldn't fucking, you know, be willing to even want to be around that person. Now, take that same person and dress them up where they're in a full suit with a nice haircut or makeup done. If you're thinking about a woman, they have their clothes nicely ironed, they smell nice, they're well groomed, and they came up to you and asked you for advice or for a tip. How likely are you willing to have a conversation with that person or even just to help them? You're more likely to want to talk to, be around, and help that person who was dressed very professionally, who was well groomed, who smelled nice, based simply on their body language, their sense of style, how they smelled, how they stood, how they spoke to you. All of these things that probably the first person who was dressed in some pajama pants and a hoodie and some Crocs or some slides probably had, but because of how they looked, because of these subtle signals that they were giving to us that they really didn't care much about themselves, we were not really going to be willing to help them or to even want to talk to them, which would actually lead me into my fifth and final point, which is to dress in reflection of the aura that you want to portray to other people. Like I told you with the example, with the person who was dressed in pajama pants and a hoodie and the person who's dressed in a full suit, well-groomed, smelling really nice. The way that you decide to dress is going to be a reflection of the aura that you're going to be giving off onto other people. I see people here at my university all the fucking time, almost every day, going to class, going to the store, going to functions dressed in pajama pants, hoodies, Crocs, slides, oversized clothes, dirty clothes. And I'm just looking at them like, do you really not have any sort of self-respect for yourself because you decided to walk out of your room or decided to walk out of your house looking like that? Not trying to say that you're broke or anything, you know, everybody has different situations, but the fact that the way that you dress really tells everything and tells a story about yourself. It's gonna say everything. Think about it. If you see who you believe to be the love of your life and you're dressed in pajama pants or you're dressed in some old worn out clothes in a hoodie and you try to go up to that person who you believe to be the one, do you really and truthfully believe that they're gonna give you a shot or they're gonna be willing to want to even be around you? Or do you actually believe that they're gonna want to be anywhere near you? They're not. They're gonna be trying to get away from you as fast as possible for that same reason. But if you dress in a way where you smell good, your clothes are ironed, you dress in a way where you're commanding respect, you're showing that level of discipline, you're showing that level of confidence with yourself, you're unapologetically being yourself, that person and everybody else is going to have a high respect for you because that is showing to them that you take care of yourself and you prioritize yourself first. For example, for me, I dress in a way that's like classy, simple, minimalistic, kind of like in a James Bond type of style. I like that classy, sexy, fuckboy, formal type of style. If you don't really like that style, maybe you like more of that streetwear style or you want to look like somebody else, like, I don't know, Tony Stark or Matthew McConaughey. You want that type of look, you want that type of style. Dressing in the way of that person, or dressing in the way of the person that you want to be like, the person that you want to portray to be as, is gonna help other people treat you in that same way. That's why dressing in the way that you want to be treated as, in the way that you want to be respected as, is part of one of the most important things on how to create an unforgettable aura, because that's going to pretty much tell people on how to treat you, or how it is that you treat yourself, which probably might make or break the way that other people treat you as a result. Now it's your turn. If any of these tips helped you, let me know down in the comment section, how are you going to create an unforgettable aura this week and moving forward? Make sure you go watch my most recent upload. Don't forget to make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. I'm gonna see you boys in the next one. Peace.